Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
School bands that, we were usually 2 to 3 of us were always in the same band.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I became a bass player by default.
Wow. And Ricky was on guitar and vocals. I know he had periods where he was on drums and Skynyrd, and then he's singing and playing rhythm guitar for you guys. So he's just a multi-instrumentalist and would fill in wherever you guys had someone that was lacking.
Yeah, he grew up in a musical family, and at the time we lived within walking distance of each other. So the same thing for him. He was on TV when he was like 3 or 4 years old for 5 years with his granddad playing a banjo.
That's cool.
Yep. And it was old bluegrass, old style bluegrass. Jackson started playing, I think, when he was 6 or 7. So, the 3 of us were career musicians, not knowing that at the time, but that's all we've ever done is play music.
Yeah. And was it Ricky who gets pulled into the drummer position in Skynyrd, and then he says, "Hey, I know a guy on bass," or was it the other way around?
No, something had happened with Bob Burns. I mean, we were already friends. We've been friends for several years.
Yeah.
And we had pretty much saturated the market where we were up north and not getting gigs, just sitting in this big band house. So Ricky got the call from Ronnie. He said, I think he was calling for Jackson, but he said, "What's up?" And he said, "We need a drummer." And Ricky said, "Well, I can play drums." He said, "Oh, that's right. I remember you played drums in a band or 2." He said, "That's fine. Can you come down?" And he did. And then a few months later, I got the call because the bass player, I never knew exactly what happened, but they wanted another bass player. So I joined Skynyrd. And we did a full album in Muscle Shoals. And the first thing to come out with our names on it, I think, was one song on Street Survivors. Or first and last, that could have been. I can't remember which was first. And then through the years, the 9 tracks I played on, and Ricky as well, they came out on compilations and, best of and stuff like that. I know my name's on 18 Lynyrd Skynyrd albums. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So where's my cash? That's what I want.
Give me them checks. So how and then, so obviously obviously I think you and Ricky, maybe even at that point, even though that Skynyrd was, you guys still probably wanted to go back to Blackfoot, or at some point had a desire to reform that, or to finish out that vision, right?
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy the music very much. We were all friends, as I say, prior to that. And it just dawned on me that, we had Blackfoot 2.5 years prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were a lot more, like, as you know, Blackfoot, kind of in your face, harder rock.
Yeah.
And I simply said, I would like, if you want to come with me, we get Jack and Charlie back and reform Blackfoot. And if you want to stay, that's okay. But he said, I agree. So we gave notice and left eventually, and we did reform Blackfoot, and rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we parted friends. We actually did, I think, 2 shows with Skynyrd just prior to the plane crash. I know one was Knoxville, Tennessee in the Coliseum, and the other one was a big arena somewhere. Yeah, that was closer to the crash. That was tough, man.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool though, because a lot of musicians, what we find is you grow up in a certain area, you have those musicians you played with as a youngster in high school, maybe even to college or whatever, the bars, the local
Hmm.
places. But a lot of guys will tell you that I had to give up my local buddies and go to LA or New York and find guys who, so the fact that you knew Ricky and Jackson as long as you did, and that they were able to continue through with you in the band and to kind of
Yeah.
have success together is really, really cool. And it's actually something I was thinking about last night when I was thinking about this. It's kind of, I mean, Gary and Ronnie, friends from childhood that then carry
Hmm.
through, and it's
And
something about
Alan.
this, yeah, the Southern bands that as
Hmm.
brothers, they kind of stuck together as long as they possibly could until they couldn't do it any longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky was a year older than Jackson and I. But Jackson and I started kindergarten together. Ricky was in the first grade.
Hmm.
Is that 1 year apart? So, we literally grew up together, from childhood up to, well, to the end of Blackfoot. I miss it.
Yeah.
But now I got two wolves, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Right.
But a lot of good times in Blackfoot. We came up the old school way. We did two records before strikes,
Mhm.
and they bombed. Oh my gosh. And we went 3 years without a label, and then we did strikes, and Atco picked us up, and then it went gold in 8 months. My gosh, what a rags to riches. Well, rags to cleaner rags, I should say. We never did make any
Yeah.
money,
A little bit better.
but it
Right.
generated a lot of money. We just
Yeah.
never got it.
Yeah.
I can lie about that.
But you got to play the shows, and to this day, the
Oh
crews and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, you got all bit your but
you lived the dream.
people like me know who you are because of the history you have with the band and all the stuff you did.
Now you go from, the band as a whole has one van, and you got to get your equipment in there and drive 100 miles, even locally. And then one day you wind up you're in a bus, and then you got two buses and two tractor trailers and roadies. I'm like, wow.
Hmm.
But we came up slow, one day at a time, so we appreciated it very much. Had a
And made
great
you better
crew.
as a band.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't, being a musician is like woodworking or something where it's the hours you put in playing live that really present the quality you have later. If you don't have
Hmm.
all those times playing bars and clubs and fairs and backyards and this and
Oh
that,
yeah, five,
yeah.
six, would average of 5 sets a night,
Hmm.
like 6 nights a week. That's our first gig in Blackfoot in
Wow.
1969 into March of 70.
Hmm.
Then we got a girl got in touch with us that was from Gainesville, Florida, where we were playing. And she sent us a letter. She said, "We didn't meet, but I was at your show New Year's Eve at Dubs. That was the club. And I worked for a record company and told them about your band. Can you get us a demo tape?" So it seemed like we went to Jacksonville, some little studio, 8-track studio, and we got 4 or 5 songs, original songs, on a little reel to reel, and we mailed it up there. And it wasn't long, we got a reply, and it's like, yeah, they want to sign you to a deal. So we gave the owner of the venue, a 2 week notice. And, the last night he shook her hands. He said, "Thanks for the time you were here." We packed up and went to New York City. And boy, you talking about shock. My gosh. Buildings, we never seen buildings that tall.
Like that.
8, 10 stories was kind of normal back then here. But we stuck it out. And there were 5 of us in a 1 bedroom apartment that the girl that got us up there, of course, she had the 1 bedroom. We're out in the living room on army cots. And it's story after story, those early years, but we never gave up. We just kept pushing through it, so we can do this. And it paid off in the long run. And then once we got a little level of notoriety, it meant so much more. And we had already played with so many big bands at the time. We just lost Rick Derringer. we
Hmm.
we did shows with Derringer back in the 70s. He's just a
Oh
kid.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we were two still, but and then so many others that we did tour after tour with in the later 70s and early 80s. And most of them that are still living, we're still good friends. We're just people have to play in a band are really not that different. Most of us are,
Right.
Yeah.
decent. I hope, at least the ones I know.
Yeah. The ones that aren't decent kind of work out. They find their way out of the business usually at some point.
Right.
People catch
Yeah.
on. They get the reputation.
Hmm.
Well, that's all. Well, so name it for those out there. Name a couple other the bigger bands that you enjoyed the tours with. Is there any band that you said, "Man, I would don't ever want to go on the road with this guy or that tour ever again. I'm going home, thanks."
I don't really want to go down that road, but I can tell you
Okay.
that in those early years, uh, which were the 70s, Nugent took us out here and there. We just hit it off right off the bat. And he was asked in later years, he said, I noticed that you used to have the Blackfoot guys out a lot, What was that like having them? He said, man, I'll take those Blackfoot boys out with me anytime because they make me work. And I said, wow, what a compliment coming from him. And we're still friends today, as I said earlier.
Nice.
And then, oh, I can't even remember. We did a lot of shows with Foghat right after Savoy Brown morphed into Foghat.
Hmm.
I'd have to really stop and think. Any band that was known playing at that time, we did shows with, especially in the 70s.
Hmm.
And then in 1981, we did a U.S. Canadian tour with the Who. They contacted us. We had done one show a few months before in Detroit, and they remembered that, and they got a hold of us. Said, "Would you guys come out and do a tour with us?" We're like, "Well, of course." My gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did like 45 dates, I think, U.S. and
Wow.
Canada. Those guys
Wow.
treated us so well, unbelievable. The crew and everybody. And then a year and a half or so later, Deep Purple called, and we had done one show, I think, with them, and they remembered it somewhere in Europe, a festival, and same thing about 45 shows, U.S. and Canada, and never met a nicer bunch of guys, really, really super guys, and their crew. So that's the two biggest names at that
Wow.
time. Then we hooked up with AC/DC when Bon Scott was still living. And we did tours, a few festivals over in Europe and stadium tours here. And then when he passed and Brian came in, we did that Back in Black tour. And a little eerie, because of the bandmate that passed away.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of shows together. A really great bunch of guys too.
Wow.
Regular guys.
Hard working guys.
Mm-hmm. And from that point
Yeah.
on, it was pretty much anybody and everybody that was out currently. We did at least a few shows with almost every big band at that time every year. We brought Our Maiden over for their first U.S. tour. And then we brought Scorpions over. We brought Def Leppard over. And they all went on to be like huge. And
Nice.
that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And they'd get out there and play their butts off. It's like, dude, you got 45 minutes. You better give it everything you got. And they did. They delivered.
It's awesome. Is there a particular, well, maybe a bass player or two that you feel is underrated?
Hmm. Well, one that's not talked about much is Martin Turner from Wishbone Ash. I think he's a brilliant bass player. Even in 1971, the first time I heard him, I almost wanted to quit playing. He's that good. And he's still playing. He's still touring. It's called Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash. You can't use just the name Wishbone Ash. There was a version of that too. But as far as underrated, nothing comes to mind. I can, excuse me, I can tell you a couple of my idols back then
Okay.
was
Yeah.
Geddy Lee,
Hmm.
one of the coolest human beings I ever met in my life. If I run into him today, we stop and chat. Man, that guy is scary good. Um, um, the guy that's been out there, gosh, shoot, he's one of the best bass players out there today. Billy Sheehan,
Oh, yeah.
scary good. My gosh, I
Oof.
mean, it's like, dude, I can't
Yeah.
compete with that. I
That's
don't even
nuts.
want to be in the same state you're playing in.
Eh, Did you ever catch any Talus shows? I'm guessing you probably did, right?
Who?
Talus, that was like the band that was based out of Buffalo. That he
No, I
was
don't
a
think so.
okay. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah, he's basically the same bass player, just in various different bands. I mean, he's off the radar there.
Yeah, yeah.
How
Geddy
was it?
Lee. In fact, I heard a song yesterday. I was out of town a couple of days, and on the way back, had the radio on, and they were playing one of their biggest hits, early hits. And I just listened to that guy, and I remember watching his fingers. Like, God, how do you do that, man? It's super fast and accurate, and it's got a groove to it. It's real busy music, as you know. Rhythm section, the drums, my God, the drums are off the chart, and they were so tight.
I was going to say you
Yeah.
got to go on tour with John Entwistle. He's one of my favorite bass players of all
Oh,
time.
God, phenomenal. Hmm. Very cool guy. We were at an after show party during that tour, some hotel banquet room, I guess, and he's kind of over by himself and kept looking. And I eased over there and I said, I mean, I talked to him in the hall, the backstage, just, hey, how you doing? I said, man, I don't want to bother you. I'd love to talk to you if you just got a minute. He said, please bother me. Nobody would talk to him. He's like unapproachable because he's kind of stoic
Yeah.
and super cool, super nice. People just got the impression that he kind of stayed over by himself, not to be harassed. He's like begging for company, for conversation. I said, well, hell, thank you. So
Right.
we we chatted for 30 minutes.
Awesome.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
was just,
I'm glad you mentioned him because,
yeah.
one of the best every night. My gosh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You
His,
meant he was mentioning a lot of bands. I was wondering if he did any stuff with ZZ Top or the Rolling Stones. That seemed
Yeah,
to
oh
be
yeah.
like the only couple bands you didn't mention.
Not the Stones, but ZZ Top. I think 1975,
Oh,
we did a
geez.
couple of
Nice.
shows and then a few more in 76, 77. And, some one-offs through the years up until when Eliminator came out.
Right.
We did a few more shows, and that was the last time we did shows. I saw Billy last year on the cruise and talked to him a little bit, and he's just like always, super cool.
Nice.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Still loves ZZ Top.
Right.
any memories of Dusty?
Dusty was kind of shy, actually.
Hmm.
You could engage him in conversation, but you had to kind of instigate it. Billy, pretty much friendly to everybody, but Dusty was cordial. But you know, I would almost rate him in that elite best bass players because he could play three notes 100 times in seconds. It was his
Mhm.
right hand, and he never played a lot of notes. But I've heard, I'm sure you have too, cover bands do ZZ Top, and they butcher it so bad. Bass players just up and down the neck, like, dude, that doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to lock in with the drum. Billy's the star of the show. He's doing the guitar. It's a three-piece band.
Hmm. there is a art form to staying in that pocket that a lot of bass players cannot master.
Yeah, less is more.
Hmm.
I don't play a lot of notes either. I play a few notes a lot of times, the percussion with my fingers. But if you watch clips, I'm not running up and down the neck either. I'm playing three
No,
or four notes 20 times each, and then move to the next one.
but the feeling that you put in those notes, I mean, the vibe, the groove is there.
Yeah, bass players are not meant to be solo players. I mean, if you have an opportunity to play a solo in a song, yeah. But throughout the course of a set, the bass and drums need to lock everything in, and that allows the guitars to show off even more. They don't have to worry about timing. You've got that steady groove going.
Yeah.
I definitely hear that in Two Wolf, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was just eyeballing. The Rock Legends cruise is February 23rd through the 27th of 26. So there you go. You were right on
okay.
the money. Listen to you. You were
I knew it was
going off
20
the top.
something. It's
So
it's never the same
right,
dates.
right. So there it is. And so what do you think is if you were to direct somebody that was going online to stream one of the tunes from Two Wolf, which one would you direct them to, you think?
Which band?
No, which song off the album
Oh.
that you go, hey,
Oh,
this is the one to check out what we're all about.
boy, that's a tough one. You know, we try to never have a B song. I mean, Keep On Moving, that's the opening track. To me, when we worked it up, I told the guys because they said, let's work it up. I'm like, it's a B song. But it's kind of in your face. It's, you know, it makes you move your feet.
Right.
Not Beethoven for sure. Oh, I don't know. I mean, everybody I've talked to that has the new album absolutely loves it start to finish. It's really hard. Um, I know that Great Spirit has been mentioned, at least in these podcasts for me. I don't know if they're just trying to be nice or what, but you know, that's very kind. I never expected that. And Traveler too, a couple of times. But a lot of interviewers have already said, as soon as that first chord hits on that record, you're like, wow, this is going to be good. And actually, that is the single.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people out there that's listening will know. We got an email from Cleopatra Records a week ago that they're going to go ahead and do vinyl. In fact, I talked to the president of Cleopatra last Sunday, and he said, yeah, we were waiting to see how the strength of sales would be on a CD before we dove into vinyl. He said, and it's time to do vinyls. I don't know how many we've sold, but I guess it's enough.
Right.
I don't think it'll be a big run. It may be limited, but that will be out probably about October 1st, something like that.
Oh, nice.
The duplication, 10 to 12 weeks normally. So, I mean, everything's there. It's all mixed and mastered. They just have to send it to the duplicators. In fact, we even gave them the artwork for the vinyl as well as the CD. So we will have vinyl somewhere around October 1st.
Nice.
So people out there get the album of Two Wolf
Yeah,
and then get on the cruise in February and bring it to Greg and say, hey, man.
Well,
Get
it's already
signed.
sold out. That's the problem.
Oh, there you go.
And you know,
Oh,
and
it's
you,
sold
Well, then
out
those
a month
people on
ago.
the cruise need to get it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, Greg loves signing stuff. You better get a duffel bag full of them, and he'll sign them all, I guess. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, I've had people come up and had literally like a tote bag. They might have
Oh,
like
you,
the inserts out of CD jewel
right.
cases. I've had to sit there and sign 100 for one guy of records that I played on from other people,
Mhm.
and
I,
I'm glad to do it. Always glad to do it.
and I've seen that happen too. Like I've mentioned, I've been on some of those cruises. But Greg, at some point it's got to cross your mind, is this guy mentally ill? Because I'm all about having a thing or two signed or a photo or stuff, but it gets to a point where you're like, this guy's got like 50 items and there's like a line of people and people are kind of getting restless going, hey, there's other bands playing right now and this guy's like got, he pulls out an item and, oh, and I got this one and I got this one and I got this one. I mean, at
Hmm.
some point you're like, wait a minute, when's this going to end?
That usually happens when we're not playing. It's just
No,
been a few hours after, or maybe even before.
right.
Not when we're doing a meet and greet.
No,
I've had,
right.
I know one year I signed 600 or 700 pieces
Oh,
from two guys.
wow.
There was, the Blackfoot, the Skynyrd, uh, other projects I played on, and there was pick guards,
Jeez.
guitars, and something a bag of strings came in, guitar strings, and I sure signed
Wow.
every one of them. A
No,
lot of photos.
no kidding. Yeah. Yeah, at that point, I think I'd be buying another seat on the plane so I could throw my stuff in, buckle it in, so make sure it makes it
Yeah, no
back.
kidding.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Well, some of these guys must be looking at it as their only opportunity to find Greg and get this stuff, get it John Hancocked, so to speak. So
That's a good point. I mean, I think there, and I'm sure the same with the Rock Legends cruise. At times there are bands that you've never seen in your life, and you grew up listening to them, or artists and musicians,
Hmm.
and then it's like, well, this is my only chance, right? Or who knows? Are they gonna come back, or is it gonna be a few years before they come back, and then I'm gonna have to wait? So I get it.
Yeah. Some of these guys too that had me sign, hundreds of items, they actually resell it or they barter to get something from another guy that does the same thing. Like, I've got these photos and autographs. I want that guitar that you got on the auction block. And that's a whole business unto
Sure,
itself, I can
right.
tell you.
Bartering
I
and
figure that
trading
out
and
pretty
selling.
quick.
Yeah.
The
Well,
good thing too about Naha, it is a charitable cruise. Every dime over expenses goes to the reservations in South Dakota.
oh, that's
100%
cool.
of the profit. So I
nice.
started off the first year with one guitar, and then a couple of years later, I got two, and I've been doing three each year at the auction. And so I go ahead and buy them, but I get great prices because Dean sponsors me. And I just donate them to Naha. My God, they're bringing thousands of dollars. I'm like, you could walk in a music store and buy that thing for a fraction of what you just paid.
Right.
But, it's signed by the whole band, and it's the Rock Legends Cruise, and these people at the auction, they know all that money goes 100% to the charity.
That's cool.
They do a
Nice.
lot of good out there.
Yeah.
I want
Well,
to go out there
Cool.
sometime. I haven't been to the reservation that they go to now. I have been on other reservations in South Dakota and North Dakota. But Pam Myers took over for her dad before he passed away. And every year she'd say, you got to come up to Virginia, get in a tractor trailer, and go cross country to South Dakota. It's the most fun experience you'll ever have. And I never got a chance to do it. And I regret that because she passed away. She said, once you get out to the building where they have like, I think they got 5 tractor trailers that make 2 to 3 trips each a week. That's like 15 plus loads a week. And it's food, clothing, non perishables, of course. But one year they got a meat company in Chicago supplied a whole trailer, with a reefer unit, and they took it out to South Dakota. Nike gave like 45,000 pair of tennis shoes for children. I'm like, wow, does it get any better than that? You're actually doing good. There's people living out there now that still have dirt floors. They don't have a wood floor. They don't have running water in the house. They have to walk out to a well. You imagine doing that when it's 25 below?
No.
I mean, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. It's a charitable
Right.
event, and I'm so proud to be part of it.
Nice.
Well, and in my opinion, we should get Two Wolf out to Sturgis or something so you could check out all the
Oh, heck
Dakotas.
yeah, man.
And that's right where your band should be playing, in my opinion. There's got to
Absolutely.
there's plenty of
Yeah, I've
venues
done
and bars and
Sturgis, I think 3 times. And there's bike rallies all over the place in the summer. There's a lot of little Sturgis.
Mhm.
They're here and there. We've done a bunch of those too, but just got to find a booking agent. Anybody
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
any, point them in my direction. You
Right.
can't book the band by
Nice.
yourself.
Yeah,
You
right.
got to have
Yeah.
an agent.
Yeah.
And everybody's an agent.
Mhm.
Nice. All right. Well, cool. Well, Greg, thanks so much. Keep on moving. I think that's the tune to check out. I mean, it basically sets up the record brilliantly, I think. And I don't know if that was one of those things that was a calculated thing when you guys were writing, recording that song that you were like, hey, this one's got to open the record. But a brilliant move, regardless. I think it definitely sets things up.
Yeah, it was the first track we recorded.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Not that we wanted it to be the first track on the record, but that is the first song we
Okay.
recorded
Well,
the first day in the studio.
yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So,
turned into the opening song.
yeah. So I know you're too close to the thing and you're like, I don't know which song to pick. I picked that one because that was the first
I
one I
agree.
heard and
I
that
concur.
does, yeah, and that does set up the record brilliantly and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you get an opportunity to take this across the country and do some gigs
Oh,
probably,
yeah.
with some biker related themed performances, festivals, whatnot, but you are going to be on the Rock Legends cruise in February of 26. So definitely,
Mm-hmm.
the people know the dates and they can book and, you're a vet, so they can reach out to you and say, hey, and have you sign a record or a duffel bag, I guess.
Anything that you can put ink to, I'll sign it.
Nice. So I guess I don't know if you have any closing question for Greg. I mean, he's been great. We had you for like an hour. Can you believe that? I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, I'll get 45 minutes, maybe at
It's
30.
it's a pleasure. I'm new to this. The
Yeah.
first one, I didn't know how to get Zoom and all of that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you go. You did
Now
pretty
it's
good.
it's typed in. I just click on it.
There you go.
No, I'm
You're
happy
fine.
to do it. I really
Yeah.
am.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
Evil has one closing question.
No question, but I think everyone should go out there and check out the website. That's where they need to go to keep up to date with Greg and the band
Yeah.
and check out Two Wolf because I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. If you like guitar driven rock music, you're not going to
It is
regret listening to Two
guitar-driven.
Wolf. Yep.
And
Right.
we've got links on our website, there's for other pages, like the Facebook.
Right. Yep.
There's
Yeah.
one that got hacked over in Europe,
Oh no.
and it's still up. You can't erase it. You
Hmm.
can for a fee, but it's some stupid amount.
Jeez.
Mm-mm.
That confuses, or that's what they call confusion in the marketplace.
Right. And
But there's a Twitter account. I've never been on Twitter myself, not sure
Mhm.
what it is or looks like. Or Spotify, never been on that either, but I know we get a lot of downloads on that.
right.
Yeah.
And Amazon Music, which is one of the places I've
Yeah.
listened to your tunes.
Mhm.
And we don't want to forget, you said vinyl coming in October on Cleopatra.
Could be around
so there you
October
go.
1st,
Yep.
thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, so people keep an eye for that, and we'll definitely post a link to the where people can buy the music or check it out and stuff. So,
They can also go to Cleopatra Records.
oh, there you go. Yeah,
I think it's Cleo Rex,
Yep.
RECS.
That sounds about right.
CleoRex.com.
Yep.
Because people were buying the CD like that before we got our copies.
right.
A
Yeah,
friend of
there you go.
mine
Nice.
lives in Daytona. He posted on Facebook, and he had the new CD in his hand. And I'm like, I called him. I said, dude, where'd you get that? He said, from Cleopatra. I ordered it. I'm like, we haven't even gotten our copies yet. I didn't get my copy till like 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Anyway, so he got 2 of them.
Oh well, good.
And
Nice.
this is a quick story, but the second one was for our friend Rick Derringer. They happen to be neighbors. So Rick would go with my friend Mike to do deliveries of dogs that people would adopt out of the state. They'd drive halfway up across the country. And Rick loved that. He'd put a dog in his lap. He was like smiling, real good heart. So
Right.
my friend Mike got the disc to Rick, and Rick was starting to have some issues, like the day before. And I still don't know the official cause of death, but he got it to Rick. And, he was afraid to ask Ginger, his wife,
Mm-hmm.
what Rick thought, but he finally did. And she said he listened to the whole CD start to finish. And it was like a couple hours later he passed, and said, but what did he say? He said he loved it.
Nice.
Rick and I have been friends, like I say, since the 70s. So we had lots of support, lots of love for each other. He was a good soul. I always liked Rick. We miss him already.
Right. Oh, wow. It's
I
awesome.
hope he was happy on his way out. He got to
Mhm.
rock one more time.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Well, glad he got a chance to check out the
Well, let's do
record.
this again sometime.
Yeah, we will. I think
Absolutely.
it'd be awesome to do it again. Yeah, for sure. And then we can do some more related to the band, the album, anything else. Probably closer to probably in the fall as the
Yeah, when the
vinyl
record comes out, the vinyl comes out.
Vinyl's
Yeah, we'll do it
coming
again.
out. We'll definitely do it. Yeah, I'll
I'm
be in
like
touch.
Ted now. When I'm home in the fall, I'm kind of busy.
Oh, okay.
Woods.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, we'll figure something out. Well, we could sneak in an hour, maybe.
Yeah, you certainly can.
Okay.
Right on. Well, thank you so much,
Well,
sir.
thanks
Thank you
so
for coming
much. Yeah,
My
thanks so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you both so
Yep.
very much.
Thank you. We'll talk
do it
again.
again.
We'll get you guys links.
Okay, great.
All right.
I
Take
appreciate
care.
it.
Yep.
on. Keep
All right.
rocking, Greg.
Yep. Yep.
Have a good week coming
Yeah,
up.
you too.
You too, man. Thank you.